Hi guys, and welcome to this Bootstrap 4 video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. In this video we're going to build a basic Bootstrap 4 landing page really quickly, and it's really simple to do, so just follow along. Firstly, we're going to go to getbootstrap.com, and I'll put this link below this video so you can just click on it. Once we're there, you want to download the Bootstrap files, and that's a button on the top right hand side here. That'll give us our Bootstrap 4 zip file once it's downloaded. So go to your download folder where your file's been downloaded and extract it. And it'll give us a folder with everything that we need in there. Now if we go to our Bootstrap 4 site here at Get Bootstrap, if we go to the examples, they've got a load of starter templates that we can use to build sites really quickly. And the one that we're actually going to use for this example is this one here, carousel. And it's got as you can see, a carousel with some images at the top here and some placeholders for images, a few little info boxes, some buttons, and some feature elements at the bottom, and a little footer. So I'll show you how to find that. This is the files that we just extracted earlier. And if we go down to docs, the docs folder right here, the 4.0 folder, here we're going to find examples, and inside here we're going to find everything that we need, or everything that was shown on that page there. And the one we were looking at was carousel, I believe. There it is, carousel. So all we need to do is go down to carousel, the folder here, and there it is. And all it is an index.html file and a CSS file. Now in this particular video we're not going to worry about our CSS, we're not going to change any of the styling. We're just going to actually build on our index.html file. Now you're going to need a text editor to do this. If you don't have one, there's a free one called Brackets, which I use all the time for Bootstrap. It's absolutely awesome and it's free, as I said, and you can download it from brackets.io. And I'll put a link to that underneath this video also. And once you've downloaded and installed Brackets, all you need to do is right click and select Open with Brackets. Or like any other program, once it's open you can select File and just open the index file manually. Okay, so this is our index.html file, which is standard for all Bootstrap sites, and most websites. All websites have an index file, whether it's PHP or HTML, because that's the first file that the browser looks for. I'm not going to go into too much detail with this, but we'll customize our template. If we go look at this site, what I've done, I've actually prepared some images. I've prepared 3 slider images, and they're the same shape as this. And I've prepared 3 images for this section. I've made them square, just square images, and this is what you want to do. And again, I've made 3 images for the features section at the bottom. Again, they're square. Those are 5 by 500. The ones that I made for this section, I just made them 4 by 4, or 400 by 400, I should say. And the top ones, I think, were 1900 by 500. And you want to keep them similar sort of shape to this, so that they don't distort when you're doing it. And the ones that I actually made for here, I've made them kind of dark. You want to think about what you're putting back here, because I've made them slightly dark so this text will stand out on them. If they got a bright background, then this white text won't stand out very well. So I've given my images a color overlay and made them quite dark. Back to the home page there. Let's go back to our HTML that we've got open with brackets here. In our carousel folder here with our CSS and index HTML file. I'm going to create a new folder for the images, and I'm just going to call it IMG. You can call it what you want. IMG or images is pretty standard for this sort of project. And inside there, I'm going to import the images that I've prepared. So there we go. Here's all the images that I prepared for this site. As you can see, those are the slider ones. And they're actually 1903 by 507, but 1900 by 500 would do fine. And here's some of the other ones that I've prepared for the other sections. And I'll show you, I've got a content file with what I want to, for the written content or the text. So I'm going to be just copying over stuff from here to replace the text that we've got in here. For the name of our site or the title, I'm going to call ours Bootstrap 4 Quick Build. And literally, I'm just pasting it in there. You just want to make sure you don't cut off any of the tags here, those little arrow tags there, because that will stop things from working. Up here in the description, this is where you actually want to, in between the two inverted commas, you want to do a description of your site. So you can put whatever it is. Put whatever it is that's relevant to your site. And for your meta description in Google, they've just increased the character length in December 2017 to 300 characters. So you want to put something in there between 50 and 300 characters. I've done a bit short, but obviously this is for demonstration purposes. Okay, let's move down. And on line 22 here, we've got the navbar brand, which is the actual name of the site. So if we go back to our folder, just double click on the index.html file here. It'll open it up in your browser. I suggest using Google Chrome. That's what I'm using here, but that's entirely up to you. So here's that actual site. If we go back to our brackets, so I'm going to just copy my site title across. And again, make sure you do not clip off those little blue brackets arrows or the tags there on either side. Here is our little menu item. It's our menu items right here. We'll deal with those last thing. And a search box. I'm going to get rid of that. We don't want the search box on this site. And here's the actual search box here on line 38. And if you highlight the start of the form, it highlights the end of it for you. So let's just delete that whole lot there from the beginning of the form to the end of the form. Okay, moving down to our content. Here's our actual carousel. And if you look, you can kind of see patterns. And each one of these is the slide itself. And here's the content. And here's the actual image they're using. This is what we need to replace. And if you remember, I created that image folder with our new images in it. So we've got to tell it to grab images from this image folder here. And I've just called them 1, 2, and 3 in their JPEGs. So what we need to do is just after that inverted comma, select everything and delete it all the way up to the end there. Do not delete that second inverted comma. You need those two inverted commas. So we'll just delete that. Now I'm going to type the name of the folder, which was IMG, and it's already prompted us for it. And if you click on that, inside, it'll give us a list of images. So I'm going to give it image 1. Do the same thing for the next one on line 62 here. Image 2. Same thing for number 3. Image 3. Now if you wanted another slide, all you need to do, you see where it says carousel item, you can select from the opening div to the closing div. See, if you select the opening div, it'll automatically select the closing div for you. Just copy, Control C, drop down one. Let's keep it in line. and paste, Control V, and then you've got a fourth slide here, but we don't want to do that. That's just in case you do. Or if you don't want 3 slides, you just want 2 slides, you can delete and just have as many as you want. Okay, so we've put our images in there. Let's do a quick save, Control S. With brackets, you'll see you've got a little dot up there. That's telling you we haven't saved this. Once you save it, Control S or File and Save, it'll get rid of that little dot, and that means we have saved it. And let's go back to our site. And now when we refresh, we should have our new images behind the slider here. So let's refresh. There we go, image 1, image 2, image 3. And as you can see, there's our title we put in earlier. Now we want to replace this content with our own content. And again, I'm just going to pull from my content sheet that I've got here and start pasting that in. So if we go back to our brackets, here's our content. There's the headline. Here's the little subtitle. Here's what it says on the button. And I'll show, and here's where we want to put a link if we want to link the buttons to somewhere else. So I'm just going to copy these in quickly. Again, being careful not to clip off the little tags there. Same with the next one. And what don't we want to do? We do not want to clip off those little tags there. That's right. And the third one. And the last one here. So now we've changed all our slider text here. Quick save. It's a good idea to save frequently. Now, what do we want our buttons to say? Let's have a quick look at our site. This should change to our new text now. There we go, Bootstrap for websites. It does scroll automatically. There we go. And what do we want our buttons to say, and where do we want our buttons to go? Well, let's go back to our site. First one, let's just say Get Bootstrap. We'll direct that to the Get Bootstrap site that we've just downloaded. All we need to do is go to the Get Bootstrap site. We'll go to the home and copy the URL. And then in our index HTML document here, just where it says href, where that little hashtag is where we want to put that URL. And that button will now take us to that site there. And for the next one, take it to a free download site. And here I've got a link to a free Bootstrap template of mine that you can download. And again, we just want to put it in between those 2 inverted commas there. Do not clip them off. Save that. And this one, we're going to make it a little bit different. This won't work right now, but it will do by the time we finish this. So let's say features. And I'm going to call it features, and you will find out why in a little while. And this time we've left that little hashtag there. Notice that. Okay, quick save. Back to our site. And refresh our site. As you can see, our button text has changed. If I click on that now, it'll take us to that Get Bootstrap site. And the next one, that'll take us to a free template download site. And this one, I'm not even going to click on it because it won't work right now because I haven't actually done anything with it. Okay, let's move on to our next section. First thing I want to do is replace these images, and we know how to do that. So let's just do that real quickly. Here's our next section. Then again, on line 102, we need to change this to our image folder class where our images live. And it's R123, I believe. R1. Same thing for the next one on line 108. And R2. And same thing on line 114. And R3, funnily enough. There we go. And all images should really have an alt tag, which we've got here where it says generic placeholder image. You want to put in just brief description of your image there, or you can put in some SEO content about your whatever feature or thing you're trying to sell on your site. Just bear that in mind. That goes in the alt tag there. I'm not going to do that. There's no point here. And again, we're just going to do the same thing. Replace this text with our own text. I'm going to do it from the content. I'm just going to do the first one from my content here. And then I'll pause because there's no point you watching this over and over again. So I'm going to pause it and fill in the rest quickly. Okay, so I filled those in now. Quick save, Control S, back to the site. And now we should have our images here and our new text here. There we go, there's our new images. And because of the class, it's made them nice and round for us there. And there's our new text. We want to do the same thing with our buttons here as we did up here. So let's just give them a quick title, and I'll actually give them the same hrefs or the same links. So here's our buttons. I'm going to call this one features. Again, it will all become apparent with this one in a little while. And the next one, grab a link. We'll send that one to the Bootstrap site, and we want to put it in there. Do not clip off those little tags there. And get Bootstrap. And the last one, free download. And I should have mentioned this before. You see that little ampersand RAQUO? That's for the little icon that's beside it. I'll show you in just a second. You just put this link in here. That's just a little shortcode for that icon. And quick save, Control S, back to the site. And refresh. Now we've got our own writing in here, our own text in here. And that's that little icon I was telling you about there. That little ampersand. If we delete that, let's go back just to show you. On the third one, if we just delete that and do a quick save, Control S, back to the site, you'll see that that will disappear there. There we go. So you just got the text in the button. I'll go ahead and put it back though. And with brackets, to undo something, it's just Control Z or Control Z. And save it. So there we are. Now moving on, you get the idea. We'll do this, and all we're doing is replacing the images once again and replacing the text. I'm going to do this first one because there's a slight difference here because they've got this loaded from a data source. So if we move down, the featurettes they've called it here. Now here's their image. It's got a data source. We don't need the data source. You want to just delete the data dash, so you've just got source. And now in between the inverted commas, as usual, you just want to go to your image folder or wherever it is you've got your images. And put those in there. And again, I'm just doing it from my little content folder here. Now in this first heading here, I'm just going to show you this first one. We've got a span. Now if we look back at the site, you can see this text here is slightly lighter. That's because it's inside that span. So what I'll do is we'll go back to our thing, and here's my heading, and I'm going to put the last half of it within that span. If you don't want to, just delete the span and have it usual, and just in between your H2 tags there. So I'll put mine in there, and this enhancement wins, I'm going to put that inside our span here, being careful again not to clip off those little pointy brackets. Okay, and content, let's just add the content there. Just tidying it up slightly, maybe a little bit too much. I'm just hitting the delete button to pull everything tidily together. Let's save it, just have a quick look there. Should have our new image here and our new text here. There we go, that's fine. There's our new image, there's our new text. There's that little bit that was inside that span. If you decide you don't want it inside the span, just delete those span tags and it'll all be just like that. And again, I'm not going to go over this again. You know how to do this, so I'm going to pause and quickly fill these two out. Okay, so I've filled those out. Let's do a quick save and have a look back at the site. So there's our first image that we had already, and our new text. Second image, new text. Third image. There we are. Okay, let's quickly move on to the footer here. And all you need to do is put your own name there. We'll get rid of the privacy and the terms because we really don't need them. Moving down, here's the footer, and we're now 2018. And we'll put our company name, or whatever you choose to put there, it's fine. And again, that is a short code for an icon. And we'll get rid of the privacy and we'll get rid of the terms. We don't need that, but we do need the P on the end here, the closing P tag. So do not clip off the closing P tag there. Quick save. Back to the site. And refresh. There we have it. Copyright 2018. Bootstrap 4 quick build, and we've got rid of those policies and what have you. We've got a back to the top button, which is great, takes us straight back to the top here. Now let's deal with these links here. What I want to do, well, home obviously will stay going to the home, which is right here. This one I want to call about, and I want it to take us down to here. And then I'm going to have another one called features that I want to take it down to here. Now to do this, we're actually going to have to edit a bit of HTML, but it's really simple, so just follow along with me and you won't go wrong. There's nothing to it really. Okay, to make these two happen, I've got to give these sections, this section and the following section, what they call an ID, and it's really easy. Let's go back to our brackets. If you look up at the carousel here, it's already got an ID. You see here, div ID equals my carousel. So here's our next section, div, and it's just got the class. So we want to add an ID just before that class. So it's ID equals, then two inverted commas, real important, two inverted commas. If you notice, if I put one, things start to turn red because it's not working correctly. So two inverted commas and a space. You want to make sure you give it a space afterwards. Then back inside between the two sets of inverted commas there, I'm just going to call it about. So this section now has an ID of about, and I want to do the same thing to our features section. So just before the class, it's ID equals 2 double inverted commas and a space, and we're just going to call this features, and things will start to make sense. What I was talking about with those buttons earlier is going to features section. Okay, this will now work, but I think we're going to have to add a bit of padding. So let's save it. Back to the site. Now we need to change these to about and features. So if we go back to our brackets, here's our menu at the top here, home, there's his link, and then disabled because they've got a disabled link. So what we want to do here, on line 28, we want to get rid of this active, because that's just telling it that that's an active link, and we've only got one page here, so that doesn't really pertain to anything. So it's just nav item, and again, don't clip off that inverted comma there. So there's that home. That's fine. Now the second one, we want to, after the hashtag, we want to keep the hashtag there in the href. We just want to put about, because that's what we called our first section ID. And here, call it what you want, but I'm going to say about us. Or and this second one here, it's actually, they call it nav link disabled. So let's do it the easy way. Let's click on the top and you'll see the opening and closing list item brackets there. Let's just delete that, get rid of it. Bang, gone. And let's select our last link, our about us link. Copy it from the opening tag to the end of the closing tag, Control C. Then drop down underneath and just paste it in there. Control V or right click and paste, however you like to do it. Now all we need to do is change, after the hashtag there, we want to change that to features. And here's what it's going to actually say in the menu up there, so we want to make that features, or whatever you decide to call it. Now then, when we go back, let's save this and go back to the site and refresh. Now we've got home, about us, and features. Now when I click on this, I want it to go down to here. When I click on this, I want it to go down to here. So let's see what happens. There we go, that's gone to the about us section, but like I say, I think we're going to have to add a bit of padding because it's gone slightly too far because of this menu up here. We want it to be kind of there. Okay, and features probably do the same thing. Actually, features doesn't matter quite so much because you're not really missing anything, but that about us for sure, we want to drop that down. So let's just add a little bit of padding to this. Now, if we go back to our HTML, we're going to do a bit of what they call inline style here, which really, you should do this in your cascading style sheet, but I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. So what we're going to do, here's our about section. That's where it's going down. I'm just going to give it some style. So we write style equals, a couple of inverted commas. And back inside the inverted commas, I'm going to write padding top, P-A-D-D-I-N-G, dash top, colon. And let's give it, say, I'm guessing 75 pixels. We can always change it. 75 px, a little semicolon afterwards. Now we'll save that, and what this should effectively do is push that section down by 75 pixels. So let's save it, Control S, go back to our site, back to the top, refresh, and you should notice this actually drop down by about 75 pixels. There we go, there's a bit more of a gap you see now between there. Now when we hit this about us section, it should take us to it and it won't clip it off with the menu. There you go, that's what we wanted. As I say, for the features section it doesn't matter so much because that's fine like that. Back to the About Us, back to Home. So there you have it. You've effectively coded yourself your first capture page or landing page with Bootstrap 4. Really easy, it's not taking very long at all. All you need to do is upload this to your hosting provider now. And with Bootstrap, it is so easy. It's not like WordPress. You don't have to install any files whatsoever. Okay, to upload this to our hosting server, we've got to make a few changes because this is working on our local machine here. But we've just got to tweak a few things and just copy a couple files over. Let's have a look at our index.html. If we look here, it's taking our Bootstrap core CSS, which dictates how our site looks, from back folders from a folder called dist, and it's taking it from inside a CSS folder there. That's fine. And down the bottom there should be some scripts. Yeah, here we go. This jQuery script here, again, it's taking it from a folder called assets. And same with the vendor.js there and the minified bootstrap.js and also this holder minified.js. So what we need to do is copy these two folders over. We've got assets and we've got dist. That's the only two we're dealing with. And it's back 1, 2, 3, 4 folders from our carousel folder. I know this sounds complicated. Just follow along with what I'm doing and you can't go wrong. So here's our main carousel folder that we've been working on. If we go back, we're backing up and we're backing up and we're backing up and we're backing up, and this is our actual unzipped Bootstrap folder from our zip file that we had originally. Now we're looking for the dist folder and the assets folder. Dist and assets. Let's have a look here, make sure that's correct. Assets and dist. So it's basically distribution and assets. So let's select both of those. Select one and hit the control, select the other one, copy, control C. Let's go back to our carousel folder, which was in our docs. Going back forward again now, examples, carousel. Let's paste those two folders inside here. There we go. So we've got assets and distribution there as well inside that. Now in our index.html, these are all pointing back where we took these from. All we need to do is all these places here, just in front of assets, select in front of assets and go all the way back to that first inverted comma. Do not clip off that inverted comma and hit delete. So it just goes inverted comma assets. Do the same thing for any ones that say that here. Same thing with this dist folder. Same thing with this last assets folder on line 182. So they're pointing directly within our folder. They're just pointing straight in our folder at these folders now instead of way back. Because when we upload to our site, these are the only files we're going to upload. We're not going to upload all those files that we were looking at earlier. No need to. Now don't forget at the top we had the Bootstrap CSS minified also on line, here we go, on line 13. Again, just in front of dist, that's that folder. Take it all the way back to that inverted comma there, delete. There you have it. Now let's save this, Control S. So these are all pointing to the right place now, and because we've put these all in the same folder, we've changed it where they're looking for them. That's just the favicon, which is the little icon that displays in the browser window there. We've not changed that. We're not even messing with that. This should still work locally, so let's double check that. Let's go to our site, our local site, make sure it's still working. everything's fine. That's the favicon there. So that's fine. So I've created a directory on my hosting provider. I'm using iPage for this, and I'm going to use a free client called FileZilla, which is an FTP or File Transport Protocol program. And I'll put a link to that below this as well. Let's just refresh that because we've added those folders. There we go, you see there. Now all I need to do is drag this across to my directory on my live hosting provider. It's the live hosting provider server on the right hand side, my local computer that we built the site on the left hand side here. I've simply dragged them across here and they're uploading as we speak, and it shouldn't take too long. Like I say, this is so much easier than doing WordPress or something like that. There's no actual install or anything. See, we've finished already. You just literally copy the files from wherever you've built the site and put them on the server. Now we should be able to navigate to that site. I've got it as a subdirectory of one of my main sites, but it should be live online. So let's go to my main site. Okay, and just hit / and the name of the directory. If you had yours, it would be just on a root directory and you'd have a domain name for it, so you just navigate to that. So BS4 was the directory I put it in. So once I hit enter, this should load that site for us. There we have it. Loads really nice and quickly. Make sure our menus work. About us. Yep, that section. And the features section. There we have it. So that site is now live on the internet and everything's working. So how easy was that? That is how to build your first quick site with Bootstrap 4. It's a great platform, and of course you can do this with any of the example templates they've got there. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel here. If you're interested in web design, please take one of our courses below. We've got them heavily discounted for our YouTube subscribers. There's also some great free courses there. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.